Hey guys, Chris with Inertia Lab here. I'm just going to go around the shop and point out some of the projects we got in here. There's usually some fairly interesting stuff coming through the shop, and so figured it would be worth just walking around and talking about it for hopefully not much more than 5 minutes. This is a 3-way Nitron set for a Prelude, mid-90s Prelude. So all the silver top mounts here, like these and these 3-prong clevises, we designed and made ourselves. The rest is Nitron. We're swapping out these guys to a different size, and just waiting on some bushings, and then we'll install all the hardware and it'll be ready to go on the car. And this is getting some shock pots on it as well, which are over here on the shelf, but we've not installed them yet. I think we're going to do that later. And now that's the second set of Prelude shocks, by the way. I didn't expect this much interest in these bad boys, but people like their Preludes. This is a Viper 5th gen shock, Tractive. It's electronic, so we got the power supply back here we control it with while we run it on the dyno, and customers complaining about some issues. Another shop had checked them out. So far they look good. We only have the fronts in, the rears are on the way. I guess they're just double checking, just trying to find why the car is behaving not the way they want. So we'll get them all tested and I guess go from there. Just some other stuff on the shelf that's been dynoed, waiting on their matching components to be finished. Waiting on a lot of parts. This is a cool Penske set. It's a 4-way. It's off of a 458 Ferrari race car. It's got an oddball piston in there. I'm sure they had multiple sets, and this one just got in there with it. But it's got some unique features in it. They're going on a NC Miata of all things. It's going to be adapted to that with rockers in the back at least, and up front it's basically going to have some modifications as well, so it's not going to be stock by any means. This is the way he wanted to go. It's kind of an interesting path, and he's asked us to help him out with that. So we're going to sort out what the car needs based on the details he's given us and build a set of shocks out of as much of what's here. Obviously it's going to get serviced, but use as many of the components as we can without swapping all this out. There's some unique stuff here too that's got its own compression blow off on top of the piston. So it's got a normal linear piston. Well, I say normal. It's got a linear piston. Produces a fairly standard curve, and then it's got a blow off disc here. It's like a backing plate on the back of the compression shim stack that once the force on this shim stack reaches a certain level, then this shim stack, which loads this against all this, will then pull up completely, and the whole shim stack will move off the piston face. So then it will have a secondary rate after that, which is going to be very low. So that's an interesting bit of kit. One of these doesn't have it, so we may have to scrap the whole thing or buy new components to match this one. Just depends on what he needs and how much it all costs, budget, all that kind of good stuff. Nitron Lotus 3-way. We're waiting on some canister heads. These were just, this set is so old. It's very, very old. So, but only 2 of the canister heads had some wear that gave a little, below ½ inch a second. You only see it, which is, fairly trivial, but it didn't match and it wasn't right. So we're replacing it. And yeah, it just takes a long time to wear that stuff out. But these are so old that we're just waiting on those parts to get here. Fix that guy up. Set of JRZs. We do a lot of JRZ service, and this is a bench shaft. So the other 3 over here, and all good, ready to go. And waiting on JRZ parts. Just actually waiting on quite a few JRZ parts. There's some other kits over here that are waiting on that stuff. This is a FRS Nitron. It was in an accident, so there's a bent sleeve here, and it's barely bent. I mean, it's so hard to notice, but if you run the piston down the shaft, you can feel it hang up. So there's a little crease you can see in the light. So getting a new one of these, getting that thing back on the road. Yeah, old Motons, I try to avoid these as much as possible, because when they're bent like one of these is, there's some damage on one of these guys. You got to replace both shafts with a different brand altogether. So it ends up being a little more expensive. Not the end of the world. I mean, this is an old set though, so waiting on some more parts for that. Carrera GT, the Porsche supercar from, I don't know, 2004, whenever it came out. We're being tasked with finding a way to service these and keep their originality, so that, you know, the value of the car isn't affected by having modifications or whatever. People just want originality. You know how that goes. So some real oddball parts in here. Not that they're special, it's just they're just odd sizes that nobody uses, and so we're probably gonna have to make some seals and seal heads and stuff like that. It's not too big of a deal, but you know, it's not a standard rebuild. So I got a new parts washer today. Same as the old one, just this one doesn't leak all over the floor. So it was leaking on the floor, and they came and replaced it. So that was great. Yeah, it's pretty much the tour at the moment. So got some cool parts going. Some more stuff coming in every week. That's about that. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.